Hello to all the unholy folk out there. Welcome back to the Big Gold Belt channel. My name is Zero Gravity, the first in command for all things horror thriller. Having a chat with Adam Goldberg, who plays Peter in the upcoming horror The Exorcism. Adam, thanks so much for joining me today.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Of course. So, a little bit of a tell on myself, but I watch a ridiculous amount of horror movies, and I can say confidently that something that I rarely see, if at all, in religious horror is comedic relief or satire. So, your character is the filmmaker behind the project that serves as the setting of this film. And he's fun. He's a little kooky. So let me in on the process of how you help create this character. You definitely don't have to name names or anything like that, but might Pete the director be based on a real person or an experience that you've had, maybe?
I kind of wish he was. I mean, I think it would be a better story, but I think I don't know where the guy came from exactly. I know that when every time I would do a take or something, I mean, like uncannily, people would on the crew would say like, "Man, I know that guy," which is really sort of sad. But like, I think crews especially probably have been subject to the wrath of a filmmaker or a producer or whatever, maybe slightly more than an actor. But yeah, I guess he's probably an amalgam of all of the assholes I've encountered over the years, but not any particular one.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's a good fair answer. So, were there any challenges providing a character with such a vibe switch that or sorry, were there any challenges providing a character with such a vibe switch to a subgenre that prefers to stay cold? Or how was your experience working on this set as somebody who has a pretty heavy comedic background?
I don't know. I mean, I don't think of myself like as one type of actor or another, I mean, the same year I did Saving Private Ryan, I think I did Friends. I think that was the same year. I don't know. I could be wrong. But and so or it was a couple years later. Anyway, the point being, right, that yeah, I just think like whatever the role calls for, I hope, I'm there for it. And I think that one of the things that oftentimes irks me, I guess, about certain uh so whatever, it could be a TV show, it could be a movie, whatever, is that there's always something funny that happens, and and everybody has a sense of humor, whether or not they're actually a funny person or not. And so there's always going to be, I think some of that in any situation, no matter how dark and how dismal it is. So I think that's always kind of important to try and, sort of bring to a character. But in this case, this was like, I'm playing a guy who's like the director as superstar, and that is definitely a thing. And so that was definitely, whether or not it was any particular guy, once the director becomes a superstar, he brings a lot of well, whether it's a sense of humor or whether it's, just a kind of an exhibitionism, to the set, you end up bringing a lot of personality to that character.
Yeah. And I think it shows with your character in this film. I think that he's a breath of fresh air and a nice puncture in between the darkness and
All right,
pretty
nice.
unsettling undertones. But that's all the time that I have today. Thank you again, Adam, for having the time to speak with me. Folks, you can watch the new film, The Exorcism, in theaters nationwide on June 21st. And as always, I've been Zero Gravity. Thank you so much for watching.
Thank you.